is just not having it, then you know by now that ONYX STORM is coming out in January, and I am so excited. We did meet Teenage Aunt Darna. You're done. You're not punishing Violet anymore. And he like, I love when Tarn just gets so like, wait a minute, I'm a dragon. What are you puny humans gonna do? You're gonna have to listen to me. Tell you the quote that Zayden said that nearly made me cry. I just finished Iron Flame. And my heart? Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah. So if you are a fan of the Empyrean series, aka the Fourth Wing universe, like your girl is, I did just buy the paperback copy of Fourth Wing with the dragons stenciled on the sides, and I have the holiday edition of Fourth Wing, I have the normal edition, and of course I have one edition of Iron Flame. So if you are a fan of this world, then you know by now that ONYX STORM is coming out in January, and I am so excited. I pre-ordered it on Amazon like when it was announced. I was actually looking for a video to edit, looking for a video to film this week, and I saw that I actually have footage of when I first read Iron Flame that I never actually edited together and never actually posted. I read this back in December, I think, because editing it I had my Christmas decorations on. So this is almost a year old footage. Never actually posted it because I feel like when Iron Flame came out there was so much controversy, I guess, around it that I just was waiting for the right time to post it and it never really came about. And then ONYX STORM was announced and I got excited all over again. So I decided to finally edit this video, put it out there for everyone to see in preparation for ONYX STORM. I do have video of me reading Fourth Wing for the first time, and now this is the video of me reading Iron Flame for the first time. The main video is no spoilers, but I do have a decent chunk, like 7 to 8 minutes of straight spoiler footage that I put at the end of the video. This is the timestamp where the spoilers start. I will also give you a warning when the spoilers start, in case by some crazy fluke in the universe you haven't read Iron Flame yet like the rest of the world. But that is what this video is. It is months old footage that I never actually posted. So I decided to put it out there because I'm getting hyped for ONYX STORM. I think everyone else is getting hyped for ONYX STORM just the way that this book ended. So yeah, that is what this video is. Now we're gonna go back in time, and here's me reading Iron Flame for the first time. It's time. I am in my Fourth Wing sweatshirt and I am just in theme for this video. We are finally going to be reading Iron Flame. This is the sequel to Fourth Wing, which I have not stopped talking about, so you probably know that it's one of my favorite books. An incredibly hyped up book. Unfortunately, some people didn't love it that did love Fourth Wing. I've been putting this off because I just don't want my image of how much I loved Fourth Wing to be ruined if this book is not everything that I think it is. But first, we are going to take off the dust jacket because I cannot read hardcover books with the dust jacket on. Something about me. Oops. I don't know why. Actually, I do know why. It's because they get in the way. Okay, my Simba just fully knocked over the tripod. You wanted to get to me that badly? Huh? Okay, you guys, I wasn't gonna update for a little while longer because I'm only on page 182 and this is like an over 600 page book, so there's like a lot of book to go. What just happened? I was holding my breath. I was getting hot, I was sweating. I was like, what's gonna happen? Oh my gosh. There's gonna be spoilers at the end, but just to keep this non-spoilers for Iron Flame. If you're watching this, I'm just gonna assume that you read Fourth Wing. But Tarn and Violet's bond, we're getting a real glimpse of it, and it's just like, it's like the things that he does for her, his displays of power, like how he is the most powerful dragon, is just so good. This book isn't really taking the turn that I thought it would take yet, and I'm like a third of the way through now. Xaden and Violet are still like in this. They have scenes together, but it's not a lot because, you know, as we were expecting, Xaden got moved. But every few days to like a week, Violet and Tarn go to where Xaden and Scale is, or Scale and Xaden going back to Basgiath where Tarn and Violet are. Some scenes in here I've been like, oh. There are some scenes that also frustrate me, even right now. A new character gets introduced in this. Varish, who is the Vice Commandment, has come to Basgiath because of Violet. And that's all I'm gonna say in this non-spoiler section. But he is causing some ruckus. Tarn is just not having it. I am really liking this book so far, honestly. It is like, it's not sadder than the first book, but it is kind of like more lonely, I guess you would say, than the first book. Sort of like, it seems like in long series like this, the second book in the beginning is where you see like loneliness in the main character. I feel like in ACOTAR, Mist and Fury, like that was when like she was getting super lonely. Twilight comes to mind in New Moon and relieves her, so you know, Bella is lonely. Loneliness of the main character is a common theme, and we're seeing that more now. So like isolation, I guess. I still do really like the new things that are introduced to her in her second year and everything like that. So yeah, we're gonna keep reading, but I just had to update because I was just like, I was literally sitting here like this. Physical reactions to what was happening in this book, but that is a wrap. And we're gonna keep reading, and I'm so excited. Hello everyone, I'm actually getting ready right now, but it's been a while since I've updated you on Iron Flame. I did end up buying it on my Kindle just because it's a very long book. I think it's over 600 pages, and that's just a very long book. So holding it in my hands just got a little bit tiring when I was reading at night. So I did end up buying it on my Kindle, but so much has happened. According to my Kindle, I'm 62% of the way through. I'm on chapter 41. Okay, so there is gonna be a spoiler section at the end of the whole video. So first, let me do the non-spoiler section. Right now, we're getting a lot more of Violet and Xaden and like sort of like his backstory, like relationship-wise. And I think I did say in the other clip that this book, like a lot of second books in series, is like Violet seems very isolated and lonely. I feel like that's a big theme in second books in series. She feels less lonely now. Moving into the territory of where like, oh my god, I just threw my Kindle. I just threw it. Damn. Moving into more like outside of Basgiath, outside of the college territory, which I really, really like. Like things are getting serious. Violet is learning to wield. There's this guy that I think I talked about it before. I don't remember his name, but I'll put it like right here. He's like the villain in the first half of this book. I'm now in part 2, but in the first half of this book, he's like the villain, and I hate him so much. They say like the second year makes or breaks you. That's what they said a couple of times in the book already, in a lot of different ways. Her and her squad are going through, I don't know what they're called, RSC or something like that. It's basically like trainings for if you get kidnapped and if you get lost in the woods and if you get interrogated, stuff like that. And that part is definitely graphic. It's not crazy graphic like some other books that I've read, but it's definitely graphic, so just you might want to skip past some of those parts if you get queasy. So yeah, just she's learning more about her lightning wielding. Well, she has a lot of enemies, so she's in enemy territory right now, and I won't say anything else besides that. We did meet teenage Andarna, and it's actually very funny to me. Just her communication with Violet and with Tarn, because she's like in her like teenage years, which is not a spoiler because Becky said that in a press release. It's just entertaining. And I do still like, I think the dragons and like the fact that Violet can communicate with them and everything, that it just makes it so much better of a story in my opinion. So love that. But yeah, she's in enemy territory right now. She hatched like a plan, didn't work. So this is like sort of like a last ditch effort, and Zayden is not happy about it. But that is where we're at right now. This is the part that I'm like, please Zayden, don't do this, because he was so good in the first book. And Violet even said it. Let me get the book. Violet did say, like, when Zayden was being unreasonably like, I didn't want to take you there because you wouldn't be safe and da da da. She was like, stop keeping me safe. I liked you so much better when you didn't think that I was breakable, like happened in the first book. Like, he was so like, she's got it covered. Like Reese, I'm always gonna compare it to Reese and Talon because that's just like the basic trope, but like he was more like Reese in the first book, where he was like, Violet's got it, I trust her. And Dane was Tamlin-ish, where he was like hiding things from Violet and doing everything to keep Violet safe, and Violet was like, literally, let me make my own decision, I'm my own person. So now Zayden is turning more into Dane, and I hate that because I loved him in the first book. Violet even said, like, I'm not gonna sit tucked just because you're worried something will happen to me. If I did, I wouldn't be the woman you fell in love with. And then she says, we both know we need, and I wouldn't have had to sneak if you'd been remotely reasonable. And then Zayden said, reasonable? For looking for another way. Let's get one thing straight. If I ever see a way to keep you safe, I'll take it. And then Violet says, do you know who you sound like right now? Dane. I'm like, Zayden, don't do this. Please, don't sound like Dane. Because, I mean, I appreciate that, like, you know, Rekiaros isn't pretending that like Violet's gonna condone Dane acting like Dane, because that's not what he's doing. Yeah, that is where I'm at. Hello. So I'm still set up for Christmas in our little reading area. I am on chapter 57, page 529. So I think there's a little under 100 pages left of my book. Let me get my dust check. We are a little bit under 100 pages away from finishing, and so I want to give my like last little thoughts without any spoilers, and then of course I want to update the spoiler section. Throughout the whole entire book, again, don't watch this if you haven't watched Fourth Wing, but throughout the entire book, Zayden has been playing this like weird game with Violet where he's like, I'll tell you whatever you want, you just have to ask the right questions. And Violet's been like, how am I supposed to ask the right questions if I don't know what questions you're referring to? And you just don't like, can you just like tell me things about yourself so I know about you? And he's like, no, you have to ask the right questions. And it was kind of infuriating for Violet and also for me. And we just found out one of his big secrets that he's been keeping from Violet. I nearly cried at one part. I mean, I'll put the spoiler section, but I nearly cried at something that he said. But it's definitely a twist, a bit of a wedge in Violet and Zayden's relationship. Actually, a very large wedge. But they couldn't do anything about it because they had to fly into battle, basically. I don't know what else to say much without giving too many spoilers. I have heard people say, like, what if Dane is the Reese of Fourth Wing, and I was like, no, we can't let Dane be the Reese of Fourth Wing. We, like, the whole thing where it's like the love interest in the first book is not the love interest throughout the rest of the books, and I don't see that happening. But I will say that there are a lot of mixed reviews on this book, and I could see why some people don't like it. For one, it is very, very long. There's actually a thing on TikTok where it actually has like 50,000 more words than Crescent City, which is a notoriously long book, and it has 50,000 more words than that. So it's very, very long, and it does take a while to get through. The font is very small, but I don't know. I feel like I just love this world so much that I'm like, I don't mind the length. Like, I don't mind that it's taking me a little bit to get through it. Like, I really don't mind. Because I love being in this world so much. I would read many pages of this world. Can't say much else without spoiling. So we are going to read a little more and then update the spoiler section. Covering so I don't spoil it. Covering. I have to highlight that first, but oh my god, so much. That was rough. The boyfriend's calling me, but that scene? Okay, the end of chapter 64. That was rough. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, hi. I am well enough to speak sentences now. I was struggling in that last little bit. For those last chapters, I swear I only breathed like 3 times. I was holding my breath for the entire last few chapters. I just finished Iron Flame. And my heart, I cannot believe. I don't know how to feel about that ending. And I'm not gonna say it, I will in the spoiler section, but I'm not gonna say it in this wrap-up section. Yeah, wow. This was quite the book. I feel like I still am like in my mind. I can't speak coherent sentences right now because I'm still thinking about what to say. But again, I'll say that for the spoiler section because I can't really tell you what happened at the end of this book and what happened in the last 100 pages without spoiling the entire book. So I like this one. I know that some people don't like this book because I've heard that it's too long and the ending, I could see not liking the ending. But it also is like, it opens it up for, there's 3 more books in the series. So it opens it up for the 3 more books. I don't think they have to go that way, but it does. Really like this book. I'm just gonna say, it's like a 5-star. It is a 5-star for me. I don't know if I loved it as much as I loved Fourth Wing, but I love this book. Like, I do really like this. Look at all these little tabs that I have. There are so many little tabs on this book. Read it. Definitely, if you liked Fourth Wing, definitely read Iron Flame. I know there are some people that are like, I mean, in my opinion, there are some people that are like, don't read it because they don't like it. And I have to go read a whole bunch of Goodreads reviews to figure out why people don't like it because I think it's a 5-star book even more. Not as much as Fourth Wing. I just really love Fourth Wing, but this, it was long, but I could have read so much more of it. Maybe it's just because I love that world, I love those characters, and it makes me feel all the emotions. I feel like the romance is not as forefront in this book as it kind of was in Fourth Wing. The bits of romance that you got were like so good. Yeah, this made me feel so many things, and it is just, I just can't wait to read the rest of the series, and I want to like go back and reread some of the things that I underlined, because I underlined like plot points, but also, you know, the quotes that I like. There were so many good quotes in here. That is Iron Flame. I am gonna go spew all of my thoughts in the spoiler section, but just to cut off the non-spoiler section, I think you should read this book if you liked Fourth Wing. Come back and then watch the end, because I don't know what to say about this book without spoiling everything. So, because it's the second book in the series and there's just so many things that happen. But yeah, so that is gonna be the end of this video in the non-spoiler section for Iron Flame. Thank you so much for watching, and if you're not psyched for the spoiler section, I'll see you next time. Bye. Okay, hello everyone. So Editing Sarah coming at you to say that this is the spoiler section. The spoiler section starts now. If by some crazy fluke of the universe you have not read Iron Flame yet, stop the video here, go read it, and then come back and watch the spoilers, because I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. But yes, the spoilers start now. Okay, so now we're going to start the spoilers section. Oh my god, I'm on page 182. So many things have already happened. So Xaden and Scale got moved. Every couple days to a week, Tarn and Violet go to visit Xaden and Gale, because Violet is not producing Andarna at flight maneuvers like a class, because she's in like the dreamless sleep and she's really vulnerable, and the dragons don't want humans to know about what happens during the dreamless sleep or that Andarna was a baby dragon. So she's not coming out for flight maneuvers, and Varish, who I hate him, is making it super difficult for Violet, like burning her out to the point of almost death, making it really hard for her to see Xaden. He just went too far basically at flight maneuvers, and again she didn't produce Andarna, and he was being a jerk. Kept on saying like, if you can't produce Andarna then this is gonna happen, or basically gonna kill her essentially. Tarn keeps saying like, you don't command dragons. Like, let's get this straight. The quote at the very beginning was, dragons do not answer to the whims of men. Like, that is a thing that is known in the Fourth Wing world. Humans do not command dragons. Dragons choose to bond with humans, and there is an immense deference and respect that has to be given to dragons from humans. Tarn kept saying during like all the different times when he was making it really hard for Violet, like, you don't have a right to command a dragon to come, and Varish kept on saying, but like, Violet is under my command, so this is her punishment because she can't do it. And then Tarn almost killed his dragon to be like, only a rider can be the vice commander. If you don't have a dragon, you're not a rider. I'll kill your dragon right now if you don't back up and stop forcing Andarna to come here, because you're just a wimpy human. You do not command dragons. Know your place type thing. I am so happy he did that. I feel bad for Solus. I feel bad for Varish's dragon, even though like he's kind of like mean too. Now I think that Solus is gonna be out for Violet because Tarn almost killed him. But that is a wrap. And we're gonna keep reading, and I'm so excited. Spoiler section. I don't know what I have told you, but so much is happening right now. Varish was just torturing Violet because he was trying to figure out, he like knew that she was hiding something, and she was trying to protect with everything she had, not telling him about everything in Orisha and that Brennan is alive, and just like basically trying to protect the rebellion kids and everything in Orisha that she noticed, and Tyrash and all that stuff. And she's also not producing Andarna for flight formations, and that's like what caused her to get some of her punishments, because Andarna is in like the dreamless sleep. Well, she's not anymore, but at this point she was in the dreamless sleep, and basically that is something that the dragons keep hidden. But then Tarn came and was like, you're done, you're not punishing Violet anymore. And he like, I love when Tarn just gets so like, wait a minute, I'm a dragon. What are you puny humans gonna do? You're gonna have to listen to me type thing. I love that. Because she was getting tortured and interrogated because she and a few of her friends broke into the archives to get one of the First Six's journals so that they could figure out how to build the wards again to protect everyone. So she was getting interrogated. She didn't break, which was great, but it was like hard to read at some parts because he was like torturing her. And then Dane came in, because he can like read her mind. Varys was like, you have to, the fate of Basgiath and Navarre lies on you. And of course Zane, who was like so insanely bound by duty, like read her mind. But he didn't tell Varys what he saw in Violet's mind about everything that Violet was trying to hide. And instead, he actually took a bit of a stand, and what he was pretending that he was going to kill Violet, but then he really turned his knife on Varys and killed Varys, which was very satisfying for me. And then Xaden came and saved the day. Oh my god, the little parts where Rebecca Yarros hasn't mentioned that Xaden is there, but then he just comes in and is like, you're done here, or something like that. You just hear his voice, and it's like, yeah, you don't hear his voice, but you'll see that he's just like there to save the day. I still love Xaden. Actually, I don't love him as much right now, but we'll get to that. Told everyone the truth, basically, about the Wyvern and the Venom, and people in charge are trying to hide it from them. And basically they were like, look, make your decision. We're leaving. We're gonna go fight for those that can't fight for themselves. Make your own decision. And so she got a bunch of people, a bunch of cadets that were in Basgiath to follow her to, I think they're in Ryerson House right now. And like basically you become part of the rebellion. And now Violet feels a lot freer because all of her friends know everything and she's not hiding it from them anymore, which was like really weighing on her like throughout the whole part 1. Mira just came. The word is getting out that Navarre isn't telling everyone everything they know. The rebellion is like slowly building, but that is where we're at. And like there was the whole plan that Xaden didn't want to do. Basically they need another luminary because Violet's plan to restore the wards failed. So they need another luminary, and the only way that they can get it is if Violet goes to, he's in like a palace and everything like that, and she has to show him her lightning wielding, and then he'll give them the luminary. But Xaden is like absolutely not for that because he thinks that he's gonna like, Violet's gonna be in danger there and everything like that. But Violet came anyway. She came with Brennan and Mira. It's cool to see like little siblings back together. When she got there, Xaden was already there because Gale sensed that Tarn was there, so Xaden like came before Violet did. And then we found out that the place, this palace, Catriona's uncle's palace. Catriona is Xaden's ex. So Violet is like, how many times have you been there? Before she realized that that was Catriona's house, she was like, oh, well now I know why you've been here so much, because girlfriend's house. It is fun to see like the jealousy of Violet with Catriona and with Kat and Xaden. It is kind of fun. Yeah, that is where I'm at, spoilers wise. Found out that Xaden is a, what's it, like an intrinsic? Is that what it's called? He can read intentions right before you're about to say things. Violet, of course, that put a huge wedge in Violet and Xaden's relationship because she's like, how many times have you read my thoughts? Are you just catering to my thoughts that you read? They haven't had a chance to discuss it further because they were then attacked by Wyvern and Venom. Even though their wards did hold, there is something wrong with them because the flyers, the Griffin flyers that have come to Arisha to like, as part of the agreement to give them the luminary, can still use their power, and they should be able to use their power if the wards were working properly. So that's something that Violet has to figure out, and that's where we just ended. But there's this one quote that Xaden said. He said, how long? Okay, it is the next day because my camera battery died, and I can tell you the quote that Xaden said that nearly made me cry. How long do you think it takes for someone to fall out of love? He studies the skyline. A day, a month? I'm asking because I don't have any experience with it. I'm asking, he continues, his throat working as he swallows, because I think it will take you all of a heartbeat once you know. Talking about his second signet. And then in the next one, which I also underlined because it was just so heartbreaking, he said, less than a minute, Xaden whispers as Gale moves toward us. That's how long it took for you to fall out of love with me. I'm sorry. I can't. Yeah, that was it. I'm gonna go finish. Jack is a Venom? I knew that we couldn't trust him. I knew it. But he had me fooled. I did not expect him to kill his own dragon. And he just took down the wards in the bear. Real in the last 90% of this book. I also switched to my Kindle because this is just real big to hold sometimes. They're about to go into battle. I'm on page 577, and they're about to go into battle at Baziath against the Venom, and I am so stressed out. I almost cried already, and they haven't even started fighting yet. It's gonna be an emotional end of the book. I just know it. Oh my god, I don't even remember what I left off the spoiler section on. I like very much had a feeling that Andarna was the 7th breed of dragon. They didn't realize yet, because there were just so many times when Violet was like, I swear her scales looked blue, or her scales looked, they were just like reflecting everything around her, and in my mind I was like, no other dragon does that. She is definitely different. Like, I kind of knew that very early on, so I saw that one coming. What I didn't see coming, that they needed 7 instead of 6. Like, I didn't know that Andarna was the key to putting the wards back up again, and I didn't know that she had been asleep for like centuries to wait for just this moment, because this is what she was like made for. I didn't know all that, but I knew that she was different, that she was a different breed. But I do really like how they tied her different breed into the ending. I think that was great. Also, I bawled the end of chapter, what it was, 64 or something. First of all, this is what I highlighted and bracketed when you know, Andarna is revealed to be the 7th breed. And then this next page is what I underlined and highlighted, or is what I underlined and bracketed. That was when Violet was like burning herself out on purpose. That started making me cry. That really started making me cry, because she was like, you can't do this, Andarna. Just like everything that, like, her conversations with her dragons. That made me bawl at the end, where Andarna was like, you can't do this. And then Violet says, you have your purpose. Maybe this is mine. And then Tarn says, you will cease, Tarn orders. And then Violet says, I'm so sorry, you shouldn't have to lose 2 riders this way. Because his first rider burned out too. And then he says, you must save yourself, Tarn demands. I chose you not as my next, but as my last. And should you fall, then I will follow. Oh, are you kidding me? That part already had me bawling. And then when Violet's mom took over her place and she was like, you're everything we ever dreamed of. All 3 of you made me and your dad so proud. Now I'm gonna go see him again. And then everything with Xaden. We didn't know that Xaden was alive when all this was happening. And all that Violet could feel was that Xaden was dying. But then knowing that he did it to turn into a Venom to save everyone? What? So now Xaden's a Venom. Xaden is gonna be evil. Or he's gonna have to be fighting evil the entire time in the next book, I am assuming. They're gonna try and find a cure. They better find a cure! Like, oh my gosh. Just this book. The whole war sequence also, like when she was describing how like she saw Sawyer and Rhiannon almost die and everything like that. It was described so well. And I was just so into it. I was also watching the like Iron Flame reading ambiance video, and the music just hit perfectly at the perfect beats in the story, and it just made it so much better. So I highly recommend doing that. Yeah, I love this book. I do. I have to go read why everyone doesn't love it that much, but I need to read the 3rd book like now. I need to read it. And even when I said that Xaden was pissing me off, when he was acting more like Dane and not like giving Violet autonomy and just like trying to protect her, he stopped doing that. Like pretty quickly after she told him like, you're acting like Dane, stop doing that. That is the end of the spoiler section of our Iron Flame reading vlog. I'm sure I'm gonna have more that I'm gonna add in. The whole thing with Jack Barlow coming back and being alive and being a Venom. And I did kind of know also that Nolan was mending a Venom in there. Like, I kind of knew. I didn't know it was Jack Barlow, but I knew that he was mending a Venom, and that's why he was always so, like, tired. I don't know. I love this book. I highly recommend this whole entire series. That's it from me today. Thank you so much for watching and staying through to the spoilers end, and I will see you next time. Bye.